Hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with your host El Young, and we are here with the brilliant Norman Skinner. Welcome, Norman.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for saying I'm brilliant.
Yeah, I listened to some of your music before we came on before we come on, and I really enjoyed it. Put it that way, I really enjoyed your music.
Right on. So I've been around for a while. I've been doing it. I guess I'm a veteran now, right? Since I'm getting up there in age. But 16 albums so far to my career, and a lot of different bands I've been in. I'm sure we'll discuss all that. But for your viewers who don't know who I am, so my name is Norman Skinner. I'm the lead singer for Niviane, which is a heavy U.S. power metal band out of California, and I also front my own solo band, Skinner, which is more of a power thrash or power core, a little heavier, a little more modern. But those are the two main bands I focus on currently.
Cool. So let's get into some questions. As a kid, what were you basically listening to?
So I'm gonna stretch this one out a little bit because I went through phases. I think a lot of us went through phases, right?
Yeah,
I was first introduced to in the late '70s, um, early '80s. I was introduced to bands such like Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Kiss, Kansas. So a little bit of everything. That was my introduction. That was my foot in the door. And then, of course, with the '80s came MTV. So being on the west coast of the United States, hair metal was huge. So really, a lot of people wouldn't know it by the music I play, but I grew up listening to bands like Winger and Skid Row, a lot of big hair metal bands, Cinderella, stuff like that. I didn't have any older brothers or sisters. I didn't have any older friends, so no one was introducing me to any new music. I, you know, I completely missed the new wave of British heavy metal. Like, just I didn't know anything about it. So it wasn't until junior high, high school, that all of a sudden other kids were like, "Oh, you're a metalhead. Oh, listen to this, listen to that. Here, check out Metallica. Here's some, here's some Testament for you." And then when they found out I didn't know anything about like Maiden or Priest, they're like, "What? Listen to this now." So I kind of went through a phase of just being a sponge, soaking up progressive metal, thrash metal, speed metal, new wave of British heavy metal, all that type stuff. And then then I started honing what I really like, and I found that my favorite genre, even though I still listen to it all, my favorite genre is a heavy power metal, whether it be European or US. I'm very much a power metal guy. So a lot of
cool,
different
cool.
things throughout the years. I'm still, if I were to put my Spotify or whatever I'm listening to on random, you know, 1 minute, a song by Slaughter will come on, but then Creator, and then In Flames. So it just it's really all over the place, but it's all metal, it's all rock.
Yeah, cool. So who actually got you into music? You said that you don't have any like older brothers or sisters. Was it another family member, or was it somebody from school who got you
It
into it?
was so this is okay. So basically, what you're doing is you're saying, Norman, what is your superhero origin story? So let me go give you my superhero origin story. It's a great one. All right. I was in about seventh grade. I'm a teenager. All I'm thinking about are girls, right? I'm watching MTV. I'm seeing like Motley Crue videos, and I'm like, ah, look at all those girls. That's how I need to be in a band, right? So I asked my parents for a guitar. And like, I wanted to play guitar. And Christmas time came. I'm expecting the Flying V guitar, big Marshall stack. No, I got a little acoustic guitar and some books. How to teach yourself to play guitar. That was it.
Yeah.
I gave up on that after a few weeks. Didn't last long. And then it wasn't until high school. I had given that same guitar to a friend of mine. He and some other people from school got a little band going, and they were going to play like the talent show. A lot of bands do that, right? A lot of bands that start out, they start in the high school talent show. Well, I was just hanging out. They already had a singer. He, I think a couple weeks before the show, got cold feet, decided he did not want to do it. So they called me and they're like, hey, you've been hanging out. Why don't you sing? And I'm like, sing? I don't sing. I don't know how to sing. I sing in the shower, in my room, in my underwear. That's about it, you know. But I'm always up for an adventure, so I did it, and I learned. We did 2 songs, and so I'm 47, so that'll give you, you know, what music was really popular in my junior year. So we played the 2 brand new big songs, which was "Enter Sandman" by Metallica and "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana. And we got disqualified because all of our friends jumped over stage diving at the school and mosh pitting, and so we got disqualified. But that's, I caught the bug. From there on, I was like, I like this. I like the singing thing. I'm going to take some lessons. I'm going to join crappy bands, and I started. So I didn't really start in bands until I was, you know, roughly 17 years old, and it was completely by accident. I was asked because they needed somebody, and I just fell into it, and here I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So, who actually turned around and said, like, basically, who actually inspired you to become a musician? Was it like Metallica or Nirvana, or was it Motley Crue, or was it somebody like that who actually turned around and says, "I want," like I said, you want? Sorry. Uh, so, who actually got you into, like, basically wanting to become a musician?
so I mean, it was initially just wanting to be in a band. It was probably, yeah, honestly, it was probably like Skid Row. I think I was watching like, you know, listening to like, you know, Youth Gone Wild and 18 in Life and stuff, and going, oh wow, this is cool, and look at all these girls, and you know, that was initially the very first hint or glimpse of me wanting to do anything in a band. And
Yeah.
why? Because I
Yeah.
just wanted to have dates. That was it, man. I just wanted to get girls. I didn't want to be rich or famous. I was just a horny teenager. That is all it was, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was just feeling cheeky, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember those days. Yeah, being like a teenager.
Right?
Yeah.
So long
Yeah.
ago.
I'm a couple of years. Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm 2 years older than you, and I
Okay.
sort of like, I remember the late mid to late '80s with all the like hair metal and the like the grunge and the all that stuff. It's, yeah, I
We,
remember
we,
those days really well.
we would have been in school together because we're so close in age.
Yeah, I left in 1989. I left school outside. I left school when I was 16.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
You're like, I'm
so yeah,
done. I'm out.
yeah, 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 yeah. I left school and then went to college straight away. Like the following day, I went straight to college. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
to actually learn a motor vehicle spray painter. So yeah,
I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was just like, I don't like school, but that's all I knew. So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so you talked a little bit about you've been in like lots of bands, but what bands were you in before you came up with Nivan
well,
and Skinner?
there's obviously there were tons of bands that are not worth mentioning, right? All the early garage stuff, the early club stuff. Yeah, we won't even bring that up because no one knows who they are and no one needs to know who they are. But my first, so I've been in a handful of notable. I was in a band called Tramontane. That was my first induction into like a real band scenario. I was the kid. They were all a good 10 years plus older than me. So they kind of, whipped me into shape, so to speak, told me what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right, and stuff. They already had like underground demos, demo cassette tapes in the late 80s, early 90s and stuff. So that was my first introduction. And I only bring them up because I know overseas there's an underground following that still remembers that band Tramontaine, and they're like, oh yeah, I did my first album with them in 98. So it was my first EP, first time I was recording, like everything was new. After that, I honed my skills a little bit more, and then I was recruited into my first, signed band with multiple albums. So I joined the band Imagika, which was at the time they were a thrash band. When I joined, it became more of a power thrash band because I like to sing a little bit more than my predecessors. So they had 3 albums out already. I think at the time they were on Massacre Records. I did like another 5 albums with them on multiple labels. Our last album we released was in 2019, not too long ago, called Only Dark Hearts Survive. Had Matt Thompson from King Diamond on drums, which is very cool. So that, that's one band that a lot of people got to know me from. So you're like, oh, Norman Skinner, yeah, he was the singer of Imagika. After that, I did 3 EPs with a sci-fi power metal band called Apparel. That band's now defunct and they're not around anymore. And then the only other big name band that I was in was Hellscream. So Hellscream is, I did 2 albums with Hellscream. It's me and Dave Garcia from Cage. It's our collaboration. Basically, if anyone's heard of the band Cage or the Three Tremors, it's the same band. I'm just the singer. So we have 2 albums out. The last one was released also in 2019 called Hate Machine. So, but I left Imagika and I left Hate Machine last year to concentrate on Niviane and Skinner. So right now I'm just in those 2 bands. But there you go, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Some history. I've been around.
Yeah, cool. Excuse me. Yeah, so in the last couple of years, what have you been up to? Have you been recording with Niviane and Skinner, or have you been writing with Niviane and Skinner?
Yeah, so all of the above. I'm gonna check that box. So so our last Niviane album was The Ruthless Divine, which is the one we're still promoting. We have a couple music videos out for that one. We did our tour, our support tour with Soulfly. So we did a U.S. domestic tour with Soulfly to support that. As soon as we were done with that, we finished the writing. Our writing was already in place for our 3rd album. Actually, this is the first time I'm mentioning it ever. So I think that we've decided that our next album is going to be called Under Black Flags. So you get the exclusive. So the next Niviane album is called Under Black Flags. We are the drums are recorded, the bass is recorded, rhythm guitars are recorded. They're working on solos, keyboards are in progress, and then when that's all done, they hand it to me, and I'm the cherry on the top. Put a little bit of vocals on that. So that's what's going on with Niviane. Really just finishing recording. And we have local shows, of course, to keep our local fan base happy. But with Skinner, man, I started writing the solo album about 8 years ago. So I kept putting it on the back burner, but I finished all the writing. It's recorded. I got the masters about 2 weeks ago. And I'm talking to, I'm talking to one label right now. They're reviewing it. So hopefully that album, it's called The Dark Design, will be released either end of this year or very beginning of 2023. And I'm planning a new music video for it. So for Skinner, the new album's getting ready to hit. There's going to be singles, the whole deal. So I'll make sure that my PR guy sends you advanced copy so you can listen to it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I've got a question. Got a question from one of my moderators on the YouTube channel, and he's called Sebastian, and he asks, "Where do you get time for all of the bands?
So by day, right? Obviously, I'm sure Sebastian knows. He's a real metalhead. Most metal musicians have day jobs, right? There's only that top 1 to 3% that actually make enough money where they can just tour and just do that. Even bands, I remember like bands like Nevermore. I thought they were just this really huge band, and I found out, when they're done with tour, they would get part-time jobs, so to offset costs. So my day job is I'm a project manager. Why is that important? Time management. So that's the answer, man. I'm not always playing out live with the bands all the time. I'm not always recording. So maybe I'm writing with one band, recording with another one, but doing shows with another one. At one point in time, I was up to 6 bands that I was working on at one time. So, but it gets crazy, man. I mean, that's why I walked away from the last 2 projects, is just to concentrate. I mean, I wanted my solo album out, but it took 8 years because I kept putting it on the back burner. Because as Sebastian noted, I mean, time is huge. Plus, I have a family and wife. And if I didn't get rid of some of these bands, she would have got rid of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all time management to answer your question. And thanks for that question, man. That's a fantastic one.
Cool. So, what's in the future with both bands? Are you on here? Obviously, you mentioned that you've been writing and recording. Are you on here? Like promotion tour, like schedule at the minute, or are you on?
Almost. So with Niviane, we're working. Well, we've had meetings over the last 2 weeks with a new management company. We cut ties during our Soulfly tour with our last management because they weren't living up to their obligations. So I had to step in and be like, you got to go.
Yeah.
So we've been talking with new management. If it all goes well, we'll employ them, get them working with us. The new album will be, we'll get it completed. We'll get a video or 2 under our belts, and then we'll work with them and the new, whatever label. If we stick with Pure Steel, or if we end up at a different label, one way or another, then what we'll do is we'll set up our promotional scheduling, just as you were talking about. So that's on deck.
Yeah.
That's coming up. And then once the album's out, of course, we'll do a tour, whether it be overseas, South America, whatever. For Skinner. So Skinner, obviously, that's going to be coming up really quick. As soon as I sign the deal, then here's the schedule, send it out to press, send out the singles, get the video, and there's going to be 3 different videos, 2 different singles. So there's already a rough timeline, but it doesn't kick off until the label is, let's say I'm signing the label. Then all of a sudden it's like, all right, here's where it starts. Here's the spacing. And then for fans that like my solo stuff, I have 4 6-song EPs already 75% written with various musicians and stuff. So they're going to be coming one after another. It's actually called Norman Skinner's Elemantis. And what it is, it's still my own solo stuff, but it's all concept. So it's 4 concept records. There's chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each one has 6 songs. And it's I'll just let everyone know that it's a sort of a vampire love story with a supernatural twist. Let's leave it at that. So something to look forward to.
Cool.
But so that's what I've been up to.
Yeah, cool.
Plus some secrets, secret things I also can't discuss yet that I'm waiting to hear on. Some other big stuff. So we'll see what happens.
Cool. So now that you've actually getting like stuff in place to do certain obviously you're waiting on certain things to happen. Are you still writing material?
Right. Actually, what's funny is I'm usually always writing, but right now I'm not writing anything because for Niviane, I mean, I still have a handful of demos that didn't make this album that are ready for the next one. So we'll dive into writing as soon as this album's released. So but I'm just gearing up because it's almost time for me to start recording vocals. So my concentration's on that. For Skinner, I just want to get this album out, and then at the same time, I'll start finishing the writing for those EPs I was talking about. So I'm right now. I'm taking a little writing break, short one, small one.
So now that you've, like you said, you've got stuff in place to, and like I said, you're just waiting on certain things to happen. Are you looking forward to doing like a full blown tour of the North America, or are you just just focusing on North America, or are you going to say, right, I want to get over to Europe or down to South America or down to South Africa?
So I never even thought of South Africa. That's never even popped in my head right now. So we've Niviane's done we've released 2 albums and we've done 3 major tours. They've all been domestic. They've all been Canada and the United States. We've had 3 separate times where we were supposed to either play a festival or do a tour over in Europe or the Mediterranean, and things just happened where they fell through. So we're really, really wanting to go overseas to, the UK, Scandinavia, Europe. There's also talk about South America. So, logistically, the United States and Canada are easy because we live here. We just get a bus. We don't have to fly over. We don't have to worry about gear and bringing lots of merch and stuff. So the logistics are a little harder. Just like for a band that comes over to the United States from Europe, it's a lot easier for them to, start in Belgium and head down to Turkey and back to Spain, as opposed to fly over and try to do United States. So, but we're trying. We're trying. We really, really, really want to, especially for heavy power metal. United States, it's very underground. Europe and Scandinavia, you guys love that music, so we would do way better on your soil than we do on ours. So.
Yeah. Question also, it's more of a comment. It says, hope to see you in South Africa. He's actually based in South Africa.
You just planted the seed. See, like I said, I hadn't even thought about South Africa. But if there's touring opportunities for sure, or shows, now it's something when I see the guys on, I'm like, hey, you guys ever think about South Africa? We should add that to our management's, to talk about. So you never know, man. Yeah. You never know.
Yeah. Cool. Where can people find you on social media for both bands? Are you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
I am everywhere. I am a social media whore. So, let's do the one-stop shop. There are 2 websites to get anything and everything, because the websites have all the social links, right? So if you go to normanskinner.net, not com, some other guy owns com and he wants to sell it to me, but I'm cheap and I don't want to buy it. So normanskinner.net is my official website. It has pretty much most of the videos I've released. It has a Spotify playlist of like all 200 songs I've ever released, or 300, whatever it is, from all the bands. Everything's there. But Niviane, since that is my main band, my main project, we have our own website. That's niviane.com. So to spell that for those out there, it's NIVIANE.com. And all the merch is on those sites, everything. And if you want to hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever, all the links are at the top banner of the site, and same for the band. So you'll be able to find me. And I'm a cool dude. I am not what I call a cock star. I don't have a big head and think I'm some diva rock star. I'm just a normal dude who plays in a band. So if you want to send me a message or hit me up and be like, hey, dude, what's up? Love your music. Do it. I reply to everybody. So, yeah.
Cool. This is probably going to be my last question.
Sure.
Any advice for people who want to become a musician?
Yeah, don't. No. No, but in all seriousness, I got two parts. First, I'm going to give my own advice, and then I'm going to give the best advice I ever received. How about that?
Yeah.
So, my advice is when you get in a band and you're serious about it, because there's different levels, right? If you just want to jam and rock out, don't matter, do you. But if you want to take it far, make sure you talk with everybody else in your group and make sure you all have the same like mind. You have the same goals, the same everything. Make sure that you have a plan, because a lot of times the reason bands fall apart is because one guy wants to do things that the other guy doesn't. One guy is not really into it as much as the other one is. They don't want to spend the time and energy, or they just have different visions. If you get a bunch of guys together that have the same vision and they all have the same drive, you're good. You're good. Now you just have to make sure your music doesn't sound like shit. Now for the best advice I ever heard that I took to heart comes from the great Ozzy Osbourne. Okay. Now, bear with me. I was watching, it was like MTV or VH1. This is back in the late 80s. And I was watching, it was like just an interview. I don't know if he was drunk or what, or he just talks like that. But he was on there and he was doing an interview. And I remember he said, "I'm not the best bloody singer in the world." And I was like, yeah, I get that. He has his thing, but he's definitely not the best. He goes, "But I surround myself with the best musicians I can find." So I took that to heart. So every project I've ever been in, I go for, I always try to get the creme de la creme, the best guys I can get. I want to walk in a room and feel like I'm the weak link and just look around and be like, damn, these guys are good. So I've always sort of done that. So that's the best. That's my advice. And then the best advice I got. So you get two.
Cool. Anyway, Norman, I think that might be about it. So thank you for actually coming on and actually doing this interview. It's been an absolute pleasure and so much fun.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm about. I'm like you. I'm about fun.
Yeah.
And a big
You've got
shout
to
out
have a
to
bit of.
Sebastian for the questions, man. I mean, that's cool. I like that. I love that I was able to interact with one of your viewers as well. So that was way cool.
Yeah, thanks to Passion. Yeah, so yeah. I think, yes, like I said, thank you so much for coming on and actually doing this. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Awesome, man. Well, hopefully when my solo album's out, maybe I'll be back again. We can do it all over.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh good, yeah. I would love to have you back on again. Love to have you back on.
Sweet.
So yeah, I thank you again. Thank you so much, and we'll end it there.
Awesome.